This is Modern Photo Solutions, helping you find modern solutions for life's photographic journey. Taking you from photo overwhelm to photo fabulous in just a few taps. Your story matters. It's time to start telling it. Hey everyone, welcome to Modern Photo Solutions. I am Steph Clay, and I am excited to be here today and answering some of your questions. I have some questions from our Facebook group. Well, the Facebook group that is for the people that have finished the free class, Photo Fabulous First Step. And those that finish it to 100% get an invitation to our exclusive Facebook group. And there have been some questions that have popped up in there that I'm going to answer. And then some questions from the last time I did a question show, actually. So let's jump in. I first wanted to mention really quick that a lot of people have been asking about my process for using the Project Life app. And let me explain that just a little bit and why they're asking about it. I started talking about using my phone to document my story in 2013. And during that time, there have been a lot of apps that have been developed that have made my system and my process much faster. And one of those is the Project Life app. And it has helped me so much be able to document my story on my phone. It is definitely the workhorse of my system and probably the app that I use the most when I'm telling my story and documenting things. Since that app was released in December, I believe, of 2013, I have created 1,000 pages on my phone. That's only what I can count. And I can't say 1,000. I will have 1,000 by the end of the year. I'm almost at 1,000. That's only what I can count because I did switch phones during that time period, and the pages that I had finished early on did not come back into the Project Life app or my Project Life folder on my phone. And so I just had to kind of go back through and find them in Dropbox because everything was automatically uploaded and saved there. And I've kind of gone through and counted them to help me figure out about how many pages I've done. And so I have about 1,000 pages. By the end of this year, I will have 1,000 pages that I have created telling my story and my family's story on my phone. The coolest part about this whole thing is that I have never set aside a chunk of time to do this. It doesn't take that long, and I've worked through and created a system for myself to be able to do this that is fast. And so, to answer everyone's questions that I keep getting about what my workflow is and what my process is, my next class that I will be releasing will be my full process, the apps that I use, the methods that I use, and also my mindset that helped me be successful in this. And that will be the topic of the class. And it is coming in January 2017. I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to share it with you because I know that there are so many of you that will be able to benefit from this. Wanting to tell our stories is in our DNA. That's been scientifically proven through research, which is so exciting. And so the desire is there for all of us to be able to tell our stories, and to be able to tell them quickly is mandatory when you are a busy woman, which all of us are. So I know that it's going to help a lot of you, and I can't wait to be able to share it with you. So watch for that early January 2017. Okay, one of the first things that I wanted to talk about is one of the questions that we had on our last question episode was how to share photos as a family. And Google Photos, there's a great way to do that through Google Photos, absolutely. And you can also do that through the Photos app, the Apple Photos app. But right after I recorded that episode, Amazon announced that they now have the Family Vault, which is really cool. If you have Amazon Prime, it is free with a Prime account, and you can add up to 5 other people. So there's 6 people total, and everyone can back up their photos. It's unlimited photo storage. and it's up to 5 gigabytes of video for free. And then you have to add on more plans if you want to do more video than that and pay for additional storage. All of the photos stay private unless you share them, but it's a fairly easy way for people to go through and share photos with you and have them all in one location and have them backed up. As I've mentioned before, I have all of my photos on my phone backed up to 5 different locations, and Amazon Photos is one of them. So that's something that you might want to check out and look into. There's not a way to automatically share or automatically get people's photos. I know that that's something that a lot of people are interested in doing. The only way I've been able to do that is to set up my kids with Dropbox accounts where their photos automatically upload via camera uploads, and they gave me access to that folder. So now I automatically have access to all of their photos. That's the only way I know of to do it so that it's automated and you don't have to beg people to share things with you. There is a way, of course, to also share within the Photos app, and within Google Photos, it would just be by creating albums. So it was kind of exciting, though. That's an exciting new addition for them so that you can have everybody all on the same account and not have to pay for individual accounts. Like with Dropbox, if you're beyond the 2 gigabytes that comes for free, you do have to pay for storage. I pay for storage for my daughter. She's more photo intensive than my son is. My son could probably use the free one the rest of his life. The kid just doesn't take pictures. So there you have it. Okay, one of the questions that came in the Facebook group, and also I want to mention that in the Facebook group, this past week I did my very, very first Facebook Live ever, and it was really fun. I jumped on and did my first Facebook Live, and I expected nobody to show up, maybe one person. But there were 12 people there, so I was excited about that. I guess if you set your expectations low, you'll be really happy. So it was fun. It was really a lot of fun, but I missed a couple questions, so then I came back later on and did another Facebook Live and answered those questions as well that had come in. And it was a lot of fun. I'm in the process right now of having those transcribed. Facebook is really great about when you upload videos to Facebook, you can have closed captioning automatically added, and they are pretty good closed captions that are automated. But you can go in and edit them, which I usually do. So that's great. However, with Facebook Live videos, they do not allow that. So I am getting them transcribed, and then I will upload the transcriptions and share them in the Facebook Live group so that everyone can have access to them. I am committed to having both an auditory and a visual way to access the content that I share. And hopefully I'm doing a good job with that, and hopefully I'm not missing anything. If perchance you notice something that I do miss, please let me know, and I will do everything I can to fix it. So the videos in the classroom, I'll have closed captioning, and I do offer transcripts for this podcast on the website. The link to download the transcripts or view the transcripts is at the bottom of every podcast show post. And I actually go back and reread the transcripts quite a bit when I'm looking for quotes to share on social media and stuff like that. I really enjoy going back through and rereading, and I pick up more often that way. I firmly believe that I probably have an undiagnosed auditory processing disorder, and so I pick up more by reading the transcripts, even though I was right there during the recording, and even though quite often I listen to the show back once, sometimes twice as well. All right, from Judy in the Facebook group, she says, Google Photos is slowly winning me over. After a rough start with tons of duplicates, things have been running very smoothly ever since. The only thing I miss, and I'm going to stop right there and talk really quick about the duplicate photos. This is something that a few people have mentioned in the Facebook group, and I want to mention, I think I mentioned it on the last show as well, but once again, to say that typically Google Photos does recognize duplicates and does not upload duplicates. If your photo has been changed by even 1 bit or 1 byte, then it sees it as a totally new photo and will upload it again. So if you've edited it, or as we discovered with one person in the Facebook group, she was having, let me think about this for a minute. Okay, no, she was uploading from her phone to Google Photos, and then she was also going onto her computer and exporting the photos out of the Photos app on her computer to a different folder, and had Google Photos backing up both things. Well, when you export photos from the Photos app on a Mac, it changes the name of the photo, and so therefore Google Photos sees it as a completely new photo. So that's just an example of how minimal the change needs to be. The image wasn't changed at all. It wasn't edited at all, but the name was. And sometimes it can just be by a program handling it. Sometimes Dropbox changes the metadata in a photo. Some of the date information I've noticed can be incorrect when uploaded to Dropbox. And so if it changes that information, that's another way that you can get duplicates sometimes too. I did upload all of my photos from my computer that were in my Photos app on my computer and in Dropbox and in my photo folders in Dropbox, as well as my camera uploads in Dropbox, and I haven't seen any duplicates at all. It realized that the photos in the Photos app were the same as the ones in Dropbox. So I've been okay so far, and I haven't had any duplicates. I also got a new phone recently and restored from a iCloud backup, and I did not have any duplicates uploaded through that. I was really nervous that I was going to get duplicates. And it did say, at first, Google Photos did say that I had 16,000 photos to start, and then it dropped down to 8,000 rather quickly. And then before I knew it, it was done. And I looked through, I have not seen any duplicates at all. That was a relief for me. I think the problem comes when we're using maybe some different methods of exporting and doing things like that, where we will get duplicates. Okay, back to Judy. The only thing I miss, and that will probably hold me back from using it as my working platform, air quotes, working platform, as opposed to just backup storage, is the inability to manually tag or rate photos of my choosing. For instance, I love to wait for a good sell and batch print my photos, maybe 100 at a time. I like to quickly mark those photos either with a number rating in Lightroom, parenthetically Lightroom, or at least a favorites button like a heart, parenthetically saying Apple Photos. When a sale comes along, it is easy to grab just those tagged photos and have them printed. Or if I have several photos that are similar, I can mark perhaps the one that I have already edited and know that is the one that I want to use, say in a photo book. Steph, I know you don't delete many photos. Very true, I do not delete many photos. How do you quickly grab your best photo for printing or use in a photo book down the road? Any ideas how to mark special photos that you may want to use at a later time? And then she has a couple more questions after that, but let's answer those. I have several different processes that I use, some more simple than others. It depends on what project I'm working on. And so what I like to do if I'm saving things to batch print, for example, my project life pages, when I'm finished, I will create an album and put those pages in that album, and I call that album with a name and then to print, so that I know that those are the ones that I need to print when there's a sell or I do some batch printing. I'm the same as you. I like to batch it. So that's what I would suggest. If you don't want to use the favoriting, then for sure just create an album and add those photos, a to print album. Add all of those photos to the album. Once you've done your batch printing, then you can delete that album and it won't delete the images off of your phone, but it will delete the album so that you don't worry about what's been printed or what hasn't. I will sometimes put the date in the name of the album so that I know these are all, if I batch print, say I batch print on November 1st, I'm going to put to print November 1st so that I know that this is everything that needs to be printed starting November 1st on. And I don't get confused later on and wonder, well, when did I start this folder? When did I start this album? What's been printed? What hasn't been? And that seems to really, really help me. If I'm doing an album for a vacation, I will start a folder for just those vacation photos or pages. If I am trying to select photos that I want to use on a page, I usually only select the photos that I want to use on a page as I'm working on that page or right before I work on that page. There have been times when I haven't done this. For instance, some of my vacations, I don't work on them always when I'm on vacations because some vacations allow for me to work on them and some don't. So what I do is I set up a vacation album and I start putting photos in there so that when I do get around to working on them, they're more easy for me to find and they stay in chronological order. So that would be my suggestion for you as well. If it's something that you know you might want to add to a photo book later, start a photo book album, put the date on it so that you know when you started it and you're not doing any duplicates. And then once you create that photo book, go ahead and delete that album. I hope that is helpful to you on those questions, Judy. Your other follow-up questions along the same lines: am I missing a way to sort albums or at least have them appear alphabetically? In an attempt to organize some of my favorites, like Amber's suggestion, because Amber came in the Facebook group and suggested that she make albums. In an attempt to organize some of my favorites, like Amber's suggestion, I am accumulating a lot of albums. I have a lot of albums too. I totally hear you on that. Yes, you can organize albums. And how you do it is you go into the Photos app and then the Albums tab, and then in the upper right-hand corner, tap on Edit. And you can drag and drop. So tap and hold and then drag the albums into any order that you want. And you'll also see the red circle with the line in the middle, and you can delete albums that way too. The ones that you can't change are the default albums that Apple creates for you. You can't, unfortunately, change the order of those or delete them. And those are all photos, favorites, people, places, videos, selfies, panoramas, time-lapse, slow-mo. On the iPhone 7 Plus, you have depth effect and bursts, screenshots, and recently deleted. So those are the ones you cannot move around. So you have to scroll below those to see the circle, the red circle with the line. And then those are the ones that you can also move. So you can alphabetize them manually. That's the only way that I'm aware of to alphabetize. And they don't match up with the albums in the Photos app on a Mac. Those are automatically organized alphabetically. The albums on the phone are automatically organized by creation, with the newest being at the very top. Okay, the next question from Toria. What's the easiest way to print layouts? I've got 300 layouts so far that are only digital. So these are pages that she's created in the Project Life app, I believe. I organize everything in shared albums on my phone and share them with my family. I love that because I can look back at them whenever I want, and I do. And I know that so many people are looking at them. I get so happy when I see my husband sitting on the couch looking at the baby book instead of BuzzFeed. Amen to that. But I want to print out too. However, I'm worried about how long it's going to take and the cost. I typically do a yearbook style, so I share 2016 scrapbook album and put Project Life pages, layouts, Disney trips, etc. in one album to share. And I have a few smaller mini albums that only have one theme. I have December Daily in its own stream. Is there an easy way? I would like to do a book, but for example, 2016 is probably going to be about 175. Okay, with 1,000 pages, you can imagine that would be super expensive to print. I'm not printing all pages, just a note. I am working on doing a certain time period and some months within that certain time period. And I love to print Adorama pics for my photo books. I love the quality. I love everything. The lay flat, beautiful. They can be expensive though. Photo books are expensive. And I actually did a price comparison, and photo books, people complain about the prices a lot on photo books, but it actually worked out to be less expensive to print a photo book than it did to buy an album and page protectors and the individual pages. However, I do think that there are times when printing individual pages is the best way to go. But what I am doing is printing. Adorama Pix has a limit of 100 pages per book, so I'm printing about 3 months at a time, depending on if there's additional, if we went on a vacation, then there's going to be additional pages shoved in there other than just the daily pages. And I wait for a sale or a coupon to come out, and then I'm just ordering them as I can. Another way to print, which I really love, is with Persnickety. I love their quality. They have great prices, and if you watch their sales, they have print credit sales where you can buy a lot of print credits, and it works out to be very inexpensive per page, and that would actually be quite a bit less expensive than a photo book. So just batching it and doing, so many pages at a time, you can fit in an album and or book and your budget at the same time. There's not really a high quality printer that will do a book with 175 pages in it. The higher quality the book, from my experience and the research that I've done, the higher quality the book, then you're going to have lower pages, meaning 100 or less. That being said, I know that people have printed bigger books with blurb, and that is one way that you could go. I would maybe do a test and do just a few pages do the same pages with different papers and finishes and all of that kind of stuff, because they have a lot of different options, and that will help you know quality and what level of paper you need in order to get the quality that you want. I love that you're sharing all of your photos the way you are and all of your pages the way you are in the shared albums with so many people, and that they're looking at them. I have found that sharing them, for instance, I shared the Disney album that I made of my trip with my sister and her daughter. As I was making those, I shared them in an album on my phone with her so she could see them. And she never commented on them ever, or never said anything, never texted me, nothing. I never heard anything about it. So I stopped for a while. And then when I did, after I finished the book, I uploaded a whole bunch, sent them all to her, probably 15, 20 pages, more than that, maybe, and still didn't hear anything from her. But when I did that look through and posted it to Instagram of the album, she called me and said, "That book is so beautiful. I want one." And so when Adorama Pix had a sale, I entered in the coupon and she sent me the money, and I ordered her a book so that she could have her own copy of the book. And she called me again when she got the book, when it was printed out, and told me how much she loved it, how much she appreciated me doing that. So there is something to be said about the physical, tangible experience of having these pages printed out to look at in a book format, no matter which method you go to print them out. It really is a real thing, that it's much more of an experience for people to look at them. And once I started doing that and printing regularly, I'll tell you what, the support from my family about making books and making pages is overwhelming sometimes. They are always wanting to send me photos and come take my picture, and which is wonderful. That's every documenter's dream, wants their family to be saying that and doing that. So If you're lacking family support, anyone out there, this isn't directed at Toria, this is anybody. If you're lacking family support, try getting some stuff printed up and you might see it improve. I also keep our books out in our family room, so every book that I've made, even the Christmas ones, they stay out all the time. Okay. Next question is from Monica, and she says, I have a quick question. I was inspired by Steph's December Success podcast to scrapbook the photos and stories based on the prompts and classes at Capture Your 365. I found some square cards I love to help tell the story and was planning on using PicStitch, which is an app, and I believe it's Android and iPhone, so I could write on the cards. I put the cards in Google Drive, but can't access them via PicStitch. I guess I'm not sure how photos I put in Google Drive on my laptop are accessed via Google Photos on my phone. Thanks. I do have Dropbox, but was trying to stick with and learn better the Google setup. Okay. So when you add photos and images to Google Drive, they don't automatically sync over to Google Photos unless you've linked up Google Photos and Google Drive. And that is something that I go over the instructions for in the free class. So you can go back to that and be reminded of how to sync those up. And then when you put photos into folders in Google Drive, they will automatically, once they're linked, they will automatically show up in Google Photos. However, they don't show up in albums. The folders do not come across into Google Photos as albums. So then you just need to do a search for them. And you can always do that by their file name or by when you uploaded them. And then make those into an album so that you can easily access those. And then if you want, you could even download that whole album to your phone so that you have access directly from your phone. And then when I think I answered this maybe in the Facebook group or somebody else did, and she came back and said that there was a setting on her phone in Google Photos that she realized she needed to have turned on. And that is correct. There is a setting. If you go into Google Photos and tap on the hamburger icon and then tap on settings, the hamburger icon is the 3 lines, and then tap on settings and then go down until you see Google Drive, and you want that button turned on. It says show Google Drive photos and videos in your photos library. So on your phone, in order to see them, that needs to be turned on as well. And that is probably something that I need to update in the class. I'll go back and look at the class and see if I mentioned that or not. I think I might have mentioned it at the end of the class when I talk about setting up Google Photos app, the Google Photos app on your phone, but I don't remember for sure because it's been a while. So that is what I would recommend, and hopefully that is helpful to you, Monica, and being able to access your stuff on both devices. Alrighty, thank you everyone for being here. If you haven't checked out the Google Photos class, the free Google Photos class, be sure to do that. You can go to modernphotosolutions.com and click on the big yellow button for the free class to get started in that. And it's only 30 minutes total to go from beginning to end. It will help you automatically organize your photos, back them up, be able to search and find anything you need without having to tag or create folders or do any kind of organizing. It is wonderful. If you know somebody that is suffering from photo overwhelm, please send them a link to the class. They need this in their life. Thank you so much for being here and for your support. I truly, truly appreciate it. We will see you next time on Modern Photo Solutions.